Welcome. It's July 7th, 2017. Welcome to Resistance Chicks. Now, I'm going to bring three kind of little stories together. And we're going to talk about the crazy. I know we've got some liberal people watching.
Don't mince words.
Lefty, crazy mindset that has radical left. I don't know what you call them. That is literally causing people to go insane over transgenderism and to the point where in Canada there's a law. I don't know if they passed it yet or not. My Canadian friends, let me know. Where they want to be able to take children away from parents if the parents won't allow their children to be gender reassigned physically through medications and surgeries. But they can't get a tattoo or maybe a piercing before they're 18, but they can get gender reassigned. And so here we go. This newborn baby may be the first to be registered gender unknown because its mom insists only the tot can decide what sex it wants to be.
Let's see. A Squirrel says that's Bill 89 passed in Ontario. Continue.
You're gonna have to move if your kid is transgender. Get him out of Canada. You're something. I don't know what you're gonna do.
This can all be prevented by homeschooling your children, because if they're not in public school, there's nobody that they can report to.
There is okay.
They're not gonna want to be transgendered if they're not in public school.
Okay, there's a guy
around weird people.
I'm gonna give my spiel, but somebody shared on Facebook today. There's a professor from the University of Toronto, I believe, who speaks out about this. He's got the Patreon account. I know who he's. I've seen his videos. He gets $50,000 a year.
Somebody knows his name. You can give it to us in the
Who's
thing.
the guy, the conservative guy who talks about gender?
Yeah, he's really
awesome.
cool.
He's awesome. You guys have told me about him.
Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I love it.
Squirrel's on it today.
Yes. So yeah, Peterson is awesome, and you guys should go watch some of his videos. He's really making men again. And they have a purpose for a living where feminists have taken their purpose away from them because of things like this. Now, here we go. Katie Doughty, who identifies as a non-binary trans person, but she had a child. Okay. Wants Canadian authorities to issue non-gendered birth certificate for 8-month-old child. A parent who identifies as non-binary trans person is demanding their baby is given the world's first gender unknown birth certificate. Canadian Corey Doty, who has a mustache and claims to be neither male nor female.
I can't. I'm so sorry. I can't not laugh. I am sorry. I don't care if that makes me a bad person.
Cheryl at least gender off government records since giving birth last November.
She gave birth. She's a she. It's that simple, sweetheart.
So birth certificate should not specify gender is what she's saying. The child already has a health card in British Columbia, which does not state its gender. Dottie, who prefers to be referred to as they.
Stop it. You're not a plural person. She's got MPD, multiple personalities.
That's exactly what it is, dude.
Or DID, dissociative identity disorder.
We know about these disorders, and I'm pretty sure she must have it.
Yes, I'm sure.
Rather than he or she, which means she was probably abused as a child, and so we should really feel bad for people like this.
You're right.
Don't be angry at them, but they are really messed up. They need to be almost in an institution, and probably needs her child to be taken away. This is child abuse, to the nth degree. Told CBC they are raising Cheryl in such a way that until they have the sense of self and command a vocabulary to tell me who they are. They added, I'm recognizing them as a baby and trying to give them all them.
There's not two genders in there. This female obviously doesn't understand common English.
All the love and support to be the most whole person that they can be outside of the restrictions that come with the boy box and the girl box. I understand raising children without, girl is pink, boy is blue, because at one time the colors were switched, okay, and the boys were red and the girls were blue. I really like blue. I just love blue. You're wearing blue. I love blue. I love sky blue. But anyways, the point is, I understand, letting boys play with dolls or girls play with trucks. I mean, the boys in my family always had the cooler toys, and it was really frustrating because I loved Hot Wheels. They were fun to play with, and the boys got like airplanes that they could like throw in the air and just cool toys. You know, the Boy Scouts got to go camping. The Girl Scouts had to sit at home and like make cookies, and I wanted to camp and do things and, you know, hunt or something. But still,
you didn't want to hunt.
I did.
Okay.
Why not? What? How do you know?
I don't know. I don't think you even knew what hunting was.
I wanted to hunt.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, back to the hunt. While the Canadian province has sent the baby health cards with an undetermined gender, authorities have refused to issue the certificate. Dottie's lawyer says BC only issues birth documents which have a male or female designation. And while another Canadian province, Ontario, says it is reviewing its policies to include non-binary genders, critics claim such children could become a target for bullies or discrimination.
Very good point.
The British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal is helping Dottie fight to get all government were incorrect, and I ended up having a lot of adjustments since then. Now, the truth be told, there are people who are born hermaphrodites who are born with both genders, and they should have a genderless birth certificate, and they should be allowed to grow up and decide what they are.
Right.
Okay? Doctors should.
I think it would become very clear early on because they actually do have a gender. Okay, right. They may have different genitals, but they actually have a gender. Their body makeup has a
and you can
gender.
You know, it depends
Inside,
on how
we all know.
DNAs and things like that. But that is a disformity and a disability that is physical, and so that is a different case,
right?
But we're not talking about hermaphrodites. We're not talking about people who are born with, you know, two sets of
I was watching some conversation the other day, and I don't remember if it was on one of our videos or another video or something that somebody else had posted about some guy had said, well, you know, obviously there are people that are born gay, and so God wouldn't make, you know, people to be born gay, and he was talking about the scripture in the Bible that says some are born eunuchs, and I kind of like, I wanted to laugh at this person. I can't even remember if I did respond, but the response is this: there are always going to be some sort of deformities that happen.
People are born with like one arm. People are born with like, but one leg.
Just because you're born a hermaphrodite doesn't make you a homosexual. A homosexual is somebody that is born one gender and is attracted to that same gender. If you're born a hermaphrodite, you just have a physical deformity outside of what your gender is.
Right.
And I'm against all operations. I think everybody is. That's done on children when it is kind of a hermaphrodite situation, until you really can know and that child can say, I am this gender, or whatever. So, I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Well,
then there's
another parent, and this is another parenting like fail, you could say. Mother brags about turning young son into drag queen on social media. And this has been happening on a regular basis, where parents dress their boys up in burlesque. I don't believe I showed you guys the video. There are parents who dressed a boy up in drag and had him dance in front of a bunch of trans men in a sexual burlesque way. And
that's not the first time I've seen. I actually didn't see that video, but I've seen videos like that. So this is something
that's called pedophilia.
Exactly.
That's called pedophilia. Okay, so here we go again. This mom here. And I don't blame parents like this all the way. I blame the push of it. You've got people at the top who prey on weak-minded people, okay, who push the cool. So she's trying to be cool, right? Because she's posting this on social media. Mother and author McKilly Faria Jorge took to social media on Tuesday to brag about turning her young son into a drag queen. Jorge explained that she was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and I guess this is a really big thing right now because a lot of people are watching this, a reality show in which drag queens compete for the title of America's Next Drag Superstar with her impressionable child. Fantastic parenting move number one for watching that. But we'll go to another story, because how many of you have heard about the libraries who are using trans people, dressed up trans people, to read to children in libraries?
Can we just call them drag queens? They're just drag queens.
Yes.
Dressed up trans people are drag queens.
Right. when he apparently told her he wanted to do that also. So not everything that your child says that they want to do, you should allow them to do.
Kids are, like Leah just said, kids are so impressionable. Whatever they see is what
they emulate. They are like bamboo, right? As bamboo is growing, you can train it in which way you want it to go.
There's a scripture for that.
Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old enough, they will not depart.
Right.
And so this mother is training her child to be this way. Naturally, the mother opted to bypass any actual helpful guidance and instead took out endless makeup, turned her son into a drag queen, posed for pictures. I call this pedophilia and child abuse, and he should be taken away. And she should be taken into counseling to teach her that this is not appropriate. And then plastered them on the internet. Fantastic parenting move. So here's the kid. He had me do his wings, insisted on eyelashes, boasted the mother. And then while we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race last night, and this little one says, I want to do this also, he says, she says to him, you're beautiful. And then he says, Ma, we need to buy a wig. And so he's dressed up and his thing's coming off his shoulder a little bit. I mean, this looks like the Baka boys in Afghanistan. That's where they dress boys up in girls' clothes and have them dance around and put makeup on them in a sexual manner. Because whether people realize it or not, drag queens dress around and do things in a sexual manner. It's not just, why do you think they're up there? Okay, it's drag, it's burlesque. It's not just, you know, I'm dressing in drag and I'm going to go play basketball, right? She then took photos of her son in a red dress and gave him his own drag name, Cat Estrophy. And then he had me do his wings, insisted on eyelashes, ate carefully not to ruin his lipstick. So meet Baluni Litig, silent E, silent G, whatever, my drag name for him. Photos of the young mother posing with excessive makeup were also posted on Jorge's Twitter account because Mama wanted in on the action too. So she wanted it on the action, so she's doing her makeup like RuPaul. It's just so weird. Jorge posted an especially inappropriate photo of the young boy in which the dress he was wearing was partially off, exposing his shoulder as he peered downwards. She captioned the photo with the word sachet.
I'm sorry, that's all I got.
The mother ended her tweet storm with a video clip of the decked out duo. I don't know if we should even stomach it or... And it's just, Jorge has authored a collection of short essays entitled I Love You, I Love Chicken Nuggets, and Other Tales of Motherhood. The author candidly talks about motherhood from the perspective of a young mother raising a son on a site link. See, this is why.
I'm like, is she a single mom? Is there a dad here?
Dads should put a stop to this kind of stuff. You know?
So Milo Yiannopoulos, and you guys know that we have supported him in the past, not his lifestyle, but the things that he says. He posted something on his Facebook the other day, and it said, is this true? And the article said that when straight males see two homosexual guys kissing, they have the same reaction to viewing a bucket of maggots. Leah was telling me about this the other day, and I went and saw it, and she said that most of the comments...
They were so nice. The men on there were hilarious to me. They're like, dude, Milo, we love you.
Whatever you do between you and whatever is fine with us, but...
Yes, it's true.
It's kind of maggot
It makes
reaction.
us want to hurl.
Yeah.
It makes us sick.
Right. So I'm just kind of wondering if there's a dad with a maggot reaction here. Maybe anywhere.
There should be. There should be. She says that she was a young mom and still trying to, learn how to be mom. Now, I wanted to bring up this. This woman is a pediatrician, and she says how transgender ideology has infiltrated her field and produced large-scale child abuse. Now, this is what I was getting to with these two stories, because these are two of multiple stories that we get every day, and I can't cover them all, just like... people have been sending me the library one with the trans, and I actually had a whole thing set up for you guys. And I was going to take you to all the different libraries where all the different trans people are teaching kids how to be drag queens and disgustingness, and I might still later, but
society used to keep children away from these people.
Society used to keep children away from these people because they're not mentally sound. And that when they dress and drag, it's for sexual reasons.
Right.
It's like a, they dress and drag mostly, it's like a prostitution burlesque show thing, right?
Right.
Okay, so transgender, this is Michelle Cretella. She is the president of the American College of Pediatricians, a national organization of pediatricians and other healthcare professionals dedicated to the health and well-being of children. She says, transgender politics is a political thing. This is being pushed on us by the George Soroses. And I'll just give you my punchline. I believe the transgender ideology is being pushed for population control. They're trying to get the population down. So they want to get kids really,
if you can get them to choose something that a sexual choice that makes it so that they can't have children, guess what? That's one less person that's going to reproduce.
So first of all, they actually push promiscuity and sex outside of marriage because then you'll need abortion and contraception, okay? Right. Because two people who are lovingly get married and they're like, okay, kids aren't so bad. We're married. We're a family, right? But if you're having people have so much sex outside of marriage, then you realize, okay, wait a minute, I shouldn't be raising a kid. Maybe I should be taking birth control, and maybe I should be. So they don't want people married. They don't want people having kids. This is their poppy kid. And so because that didn't go far enough for them,
exactly.
Then they pushed homosexuality, and homosexuality didn't catch on as much. So now they're pushing transgenderism.
We haven't pushed this in a while. But there is an amazing documentary out there, and it's just called The Birth Control Movie. And we have sent
Birth Control the Movie.
Birth Control the Movie. We have sent it to several people. We've seen it several times. I absolutely love this documentary. I want you guys to seek it out. I'm sure you can get it on like Vimeo for like $5 or something. Rent it.
And the reason I would, and I'm not trying to tell what we always love kids. We want you to have kids if you're married.
Well, it takes you through.
But this is red pill stuff, guys. This is eugenics.
Yes.
This is
Margaret Sanger.
This is killing women. I mean, the first women that took the birth control pill, they got blood clots. They died. They didn't care. Margaret Sanger was pushing birth control pill to black people. We don't want to let it get out that we want to exterminate the black race, is what she said. Most abortion clinics are in low-income black neighborhoods, and so there's a giant push now. Now, obviously, people actually they actually want kids, even though maybe I won't get married. You know, women, they really do feel love when they have babies, so that they couldn't break. Right. So now you just have a bunch of single moms having kids, and so their plan didn't really work as well as they'd hoped. So they keep trying to engineer us socially.
Right. Well, my point was it started out with the legalization, or I guess the shutting down of the Comstock laws, where it legalized pornography. And there were people before all of this even happened. They said, listen, if you legalize pornography, then you will soon have birth control that follows. Then you will have abortions, and then you will have a rampant outrage of homosexuality and promiscuity in your society, and that is exactly what happened. And the birth control the movie lays that out. It's really,
all
really
red pill good stuff. I mean, even if you use it, you're whatever you're gonna do, you need to be red pilled on who started it, why they started it. Realize Margaret Sanger had the same agenda as Hitler. So, and all the eugenic guys at the time, I mean, she was even run out. She was actually supposed to be thrown in jail, and then Comstock died, and then they didn't, she was able to come back.
But she and Hitler were, they both really idolized each other.
Right. So back to Michelle Cretella, the professional. Just a few years ago, not many could have imagined a high-profile showdown over transgender men and women's access to the single-sex bathrooms in North Carolina. But transgender ideology is not just affecting our laws, it is intruding into the lives of the most innocent among us, children. And the whole transgender bathroom thing isn't because there's a bunch of transgenders lining up to go to the bathroom. It's just to get it out there.
To
get us talking about it. Exactly. And with the apparent growing support of the professional medical community, as explained in her 2016 peer-reviewed article, Gender Dysphoria in Children and Suppression of Debate, professionals who dare to question the unscientific party line of supporting gender transition therapy will find themselves maligned and out of a job. It's called gender dysmorphia, when you are in a body and you think you're in the wrong body. Okay, this is alien stuff, man. This is your head is not right stuff. Okay, It's one thing to be homosexual and be attracted to a gender, right? It's a whole other thing to think that you're in the wrong body. This is case of the body snatchers. This is like Freaky Friday stuff, right?
Way back when, even if it wasn't a gender thing, like you just thought you were a different gender, if you thought you were a person, actually I think even today, if you thought you were a person in the wrong body, they would kind of like, you should be at the funny farm.
Yep, for real. But now they're encouraging it, and they're making it cool on purpose.
Somebody says, yes, I'm in the wrong body. I should look like Charlize Theron. Yeah.
I should be taller. I'm in the wrong body.
Look, we just fixed that. Just fixed it.
I speak as someone intimately familiar with the pediatric and behavioral health communities and their practices. I am a mother of 4 who served 17 years as a board-certified general pediatrician with a focus in child behavior health prior to leaving clinical practice in 2012. For the last 12 years, I've been on the board. I've been a board member and researcher for the American College of Pediatricians, and for the last 3 years, I have served as its president. I also sat on the board of directors for the Alliance. Am I on the right? I forgot. Remember, don't get it. I'm on enough to the left.
No, look at the. Okay. You can just see yourself here, but speak into the microphone.
But then somebody told Michelle kept saying that I need to stop being in the middle.
You're good.
Okay. All right. She also sat on the board of directors for the Alliance for Therapeutic Choice and Scientific Integrity from 2010 to 2015. This organization of physicians and mental health professionals defends the right of patients to receive psychotherapy for sexual identity conflicts that is in line with their deeply held values based on science and medical ethics. I have also witnessed an upending of the medical consensus on the nature of gender identity. What doctors once treated as a mental illness, the medical community now largely affirms and even promotes as normal. Here's a look at some of the changes. The new normal. Pediatric gender clinics are considered elite centers for affirming children who are distressed by their biological sex. This distressful condition, once dubbed gender identity disorder, was renamed gender dysphoria in 2013. Now, I'm going to tell you, I will guarantee you, I will bet everything that
the house and the farm.
If you put children, like take them out west and you just let them grow up, and you don't put any of this gross stuff to them, right? They grow up like they did in like the 1800s, just them, just their family.
You got to
get rid of public school. The boys will grow up boys, and the girls will grow up boys every single time.
So long as they're not molested.
So, well, yeah, unless if they're not around crazy people. If they're not around anybody crazy, they will grow up normal. Like I'm just normal.
Right.
If they're in a normal environment, it's what I'm trying to say. It's just their environment that's causing it, not. They're not born like that. In 2014, there were 24 of these gender clinics clustered chiefly along the East Coast and in California. I wonder why. 1 year later, there were 40 across the nation, with 215 pediatric residency programs now training future pediatricians in a transition-affirming protocol and treating gender dysphoric children accordingly. Gender clinics are bound to proliferate further. Last summer, the federal government stated that it would not require Medicare and Medicaid to cover transition-affirming procedures for children or adults because medical experts at the Department of Health and Human Services found the risks were often too high and the benefits too unclear. Undeterred by these findings, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health has pressed ahead, claiming without any evidence that these procedures are safe. Tidbit here. Has anybody heard of Jazz?
Yes.
Is a young boy trying to be
a
girl, and he has a program. He has a program in which he has the hormones to make him a girl, right? Well, I guess there's a bottom surgery you can undergo, but because they stopped the growth of his natural, now they can't do the bottom surgery. So you totally just messed up a whole child's whatever. Even in the future, you've got to wait at least till they're adults to have, at least. But you can't do this stuff to children. This is so unethical. It is beyond my mind. It is child abuse because they see it on TV. They're pushing it on TV like Jazz is trying to be cool. Everyone knows that child stars will try to do anything to be a star.
I'm assuming that all tattoos for children as young as 2 will become legal shortly.
Yes.
Because if you can change your gender, certainly you can get Kermit the Frog put on your body somewhere at as early as 2, because that's a decision that you would like, as a 2-year-old, that you will be okay with Kermit on your body for the rest of your life.
Yes. I
don't think
am
that's gonna
advocating
happen.
for tongue piercings, ears piercing, and nose piercing for
Yes.
toddlers.
Yes.
5 years old, 6 years old.
But even those aren't permanent. A tattoo is permanent. Gender change, pretty permanent.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All
okay,
right.
so why are we covering all of this? For those of you that don't know, we go live every Friday between 6 and 7 Eastern Standard Time. I know we're going to run out of time. As a matter of fact, I don't think that there's anybody behind us. If you wanted to just continue, we'll just keep going. Normally,
and then
it's
I'll
supposed
break
to be an
these
hour.
up into segments.
So a lot of us, somebody had commented and wanted us to move on to the G20
We will.
summit. We're going to get there.
Give me just a few more minutes.
We will cover the stories in order.
So, 2 leading pediatric associations, the American Academy of Pediatrics and Pediatrics Endocrine Society, have followed in lockstep, endorsing the transition affirmation approach, even as the latter organization concedes within its own guidelines that the transition affirming protocol is based on low evidence. They even admit that the only strong evidence regarding this approach is its potential health risks to children. A transition affirming view holds that children who consistently and persistently insist that they are not the gender associated with their biological sex are innately transgender. The fact that in normal life and in psychiatry, anyone who consistently and persistently insists on anything else contrary to physical reality is considered either confused or delusional is conveniently ignored. The transition affirming protocol tells parents to treat their children as the gender they desire and place them on puberty blockers around age 11 or 12
that doesn't make
if they are gender
any
dysphoric.
sense. It literally doesn't make any sense because you don't know as a child what you want to even be when you grow up as a profession. How do you know what your gender is? There is scientific proof that your brain does not develop well. And for guys, it's like until you're like 24, isn't it? Something ridiculous like that. You can't just all of a sudden say that a child, the people that are pushing this are either insane or they have an agenda. Either way, they need to be taken out. Like not shot and taken out, but taken out of their position.
Every child needs to be able to go through puberty because then they can decide after that. But if you don't even let them go through puberty, seriously. So if by age 16, the children still insist that they are trapped in the wrong body after all the hormones they put in their body, right?
Which I think that they would think that hormones really do change. Dude, any woman out there had a period. Hormones change the way you feel, okay? Just saying. So if you're putting hormone blockers, it's going to change. So they still insist. Duh.
They are placed on cross-sex hormones, and biological girls may obtain a double mastectomy at 16 years old.
Oh my God.
So-called bottom surgeries or genital reassignment surgeries are not recommended before 18, though some surgeons have recently argued against this restriction because they see these people all the time. The transition affirming approach has been embraced by public institutions in media, education, and our legal system, and it's mostly in the media. And is now recommended. You got Lady Gaga out there, encouraging this.
Because she's an authority on this subject.
Well, it's demonic. She's encouraging it through the devil. And is now recommended by most national medical organizations. There are exceptions to this movement, however, in addition to the American College of Pediatricians and the Alliance for Therapeutic Choice. These include the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, the Christian Medical and Dental Associations, the Catholic Medical Association, and the LGBT affirming youth gender professionals.
Good.
The transgender movement has gained legs in the medical community and in our culture by offering a deeply flawed narrative. The scientific research and facts tell a different story. Here are some of the basic facts. Twin studies prove no one is born trapped in the wrong body.
In the body of the wrong sex.
Okay, sorry. Some brain studies have suggested that some are born with a transgender brain, but these studies are seriously flawed and prove no such thing. Virtually everything about human beings is influenced by our DNA, but very few traits are hardwired from birth. All human behavior is a composite of varying degrees of nature and nurture. Researchers routinely conduct twin studies to discern which factors, biological or non-biological, contribute more to the expression of a particular trait. The best designed twin studies are those with the greatest number of subjects. Identical twins contain 100% of the same DNA from conception and are exposed to the same prenatal hormones. So, if genes and or prenatal hormones contributed significantly to transgenderism, we should expect both twins to identify as transgender close to 100% of the time. Skin color, for example, is determined by genes alone. Therefore, identical twins have the same skin color 100% of the time. But in the largest study of twin transgender adults, published by Dr. Milton Diamond in 2013, only 28% of the identical twins both identified as transgender. 72% of the time they differed. Diamond's study reported 20% identifying as transgender, but his actual data demonstrate 28%. Okay. So that 28% of identical twins both identified as transgender suggests a minimal biological predisposition, which means transgenderism will not manifest itself without outside non-biological factors also impacting the individual during his lifetime. The fact that the identical twins differed 72% of the time is highly significant because it means that at least 72% of what contributes to transgenderism is one twin consists of non-shared experiences after birth. That is, factors not rooted in biology. Studies like this one prove that the belief in innate gender identity, the idea that feminized or masculinized brains can be trapped in the wrong body before birth, is a myth and has no basis in science. Gender identity is malleable, especially in young children. Even the American Psychological Association's Handbook of Sexuality and Psychology admits that prior to the widespread promotion of transition affirmation, 75 to 95% of puberty children who were distressed by their biological sex eventually outgrew that distress. That is huge. Pretty much all of them. The vast majority came to accept their biological sex by late adolescence after passing naturally through puberty. But with transition affirmation now increasing in Western society, the number of children claiming to distress over their gender and their persistence over time has dramatically increased, 2,000% increase.
This article looks like it's going to be really long. You're not going to be able to
Well,
read
how about I just read? How about I just
thing.
read the?
Sometimes
I
have to help keep Leah in check.
No. Well, I just think things are important.
Well, I know, but important would be like another 20 minutes of this.
Okay. Gender identity is malleable, especially in young children. Puberty blockers for gender dysphoria have not been proven safe. There are no cases in the scientific literature of gender dysphoric children discontinuing blockers. Cross-sex hormones are associated with dangerous health risks. Neuroscience shows that adolescents lack the adult capacity needed for risk assessment. There's no proof that affirmation prevents suicide in children. Transition affirming protocol has not solved the problem of transgender suicide. Bottom line, transition affirming protocol is child abuse. Okay.
That's a very good way to wrap it up.
All right.
Somebody said it's simpler to just read the Bible. I agree.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name.